Hey everybody, Spokane Steve here. Technical difficulties, but it is time for Strat-O-Matic baseball. Could not connect to the stream I had scheduled. The phone didn't want to sync with that. It wanted me to create a new one, so I finally gave up and did just that. And now I've got a very blurry picture. Good grief. Let's see if I can't clean that up a little bit. There we go, that's better. And hello to Jack, Ron, Simon, and Joel here. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. We're a few minutes behind due to technical difficulties. But don't worry. We're going to get it in. Hopefully people will find me. I deleted that other video. Yeah, my phone would not connect to the scheduled stream. It made me set up a new one. I'm not good at the technical stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and admit it. So we won't dwell on that. Instead, we'll get to today's game. Chicago White Sox at California Angels. This is April 19th. Tommy John, left-hander on the mound for Chicago. Marcelino Lopez for California. Lopez is hittable, at least by right-handers. Very backwards, interesting card. Tommy John, of course, a 2.62 ERA. I believe these pitchers have already met once this season. You could check me on that. I could be wrong. I didn't look it up or anything. It just sounds familiar. So we'll give you the lineups here pretty quickly. For Chicago, Tommy Agee in center field hitting leadoff. Don Buford will bat second and play third base. Floyd Robinson in the 3 spot playing right field. John Romano will do the catching today and hit cleanup. Pete Ward will be in left field hitting 5th. Bill Skowron, the first baseman, bats 6th. Ron Hansen, the shortstop, hits 7th. Al Weiss will play second base and hit 8th, with Tommy John hitting 9th. For the Angels, it will be Jose Cardinal in center field leading off. Bobby Cannot plays second base and hits 2nd. Jim Fregosi, the shortstop, bats 3rd. Joe Adcock will play first base today and hit cleanup. Jackie Warner in right field hits 5th. Rick Reichart will play left field and bat 6th, with Paul Shaw at third base hitting 7th. Bob Rogers will do the catching and hit 8th, and Lopez will hit 9th. So there's your lineups. I've got a little leftover coffee here. I'm going to finish that off as we go. And we're about ready to get underway here. Lopez, the left-hander, has completed his wind-ups or warm-ups as Tommy Agee steps in, and we're about to get underway as the umpire shouts, "Play ball." Lopez gets the sign from Rogers. Here's the windup. The pitch to Agee is a 6-11 against the right-hander. It's a fly to left field. That's playable for Warner, and he makes the catch for the out. I'm sorry, Lopez is not a backwards pitcher at all. He's a left-hander. For some reason in my mind, I was picturing him being a righty. It was the first year of the... I can't read that, Joel, because that heart's right in the way. The first year of the something A. 1 down, and here's Buford. Buford, a switch hitter. He'll be batting righty against Lopez. And the dice go flying. Okay, that's a foul ball. Lopez gets the ball back wide and delivers to Buford at 210 to the left. He gets a pop up to short. Fregosi's right there, and he has it, and there's 2 down. First year of the big A. You know, I think you're right. Somebody can look that up for me, maybe. Simon? When did Anaheim Stadium open? Simon likes to do research. That's SM in the chat room. Here's Floyd Robinson now with 2 away, lefty on lefty. The pitch from Lopez is a 5-8, a grounder to shortstop. Fergosi's got it and throws him out. And a clean 1-2-3 first for Marcelino Lopez after a half an inning. Chicago nothing, California coming to bat. Tommy John, of course a favorite of mine. I remember it like it was yesterday when he came off the mound with that blown out elbow. Oh my God. And then they did the surgery, experimental, very experimental at the time, which bears his name to this day. Okay, Angels ready to go to work here. It's Cardinal to lead things off. Tommy John gets the sign from Romano. Here's the pitch to Cardinal, a 1-7. He struck him out. So Cardinal down on strikes, and here's Bobby Knopp. Knopp slick fielding second baseman. The pitch from Tommy is a 5-10 to the right-hander, a grounder to shortstop X. That'll be Ron Hansen. He's a 3E48. He goes into the hole. Here's the play. That's going to be a 6 on a 38. Is that right? I got to check that again now. 48. So it's 48 or more, and he boots it. Oh yeah, he was going to boot it. So an error on Hansen. I mean, what do you expect from an E48? That's a White Sox error. Knopp's aboard. Knopp not a threat to steal. Here's Fregosi now. Man, was that a crazy doubleheader yesterday or what? Detroit swept a doubleheader from Boston in Fenway. The first one very close, 7-6, and then they just clobbered them 12-0 in the nightcap. Fregosi on first, not Hill with 1 down. I'm sorry, Knopp on first, held with 1 down, and here's Fregosi. Tommy from the stretch on a 6-10, swung on and missed strike 3. The Fregosi, a vicious cut, but he got nothing but air. And here's Joe Adcock now. Adcock playing against the left-hander. And you can see why just by looking at that threes column. And here's the pitch. On a 6-12, it's a tapper back to the mound. John is a 3E33. And here is the roll on the play. That's going to be a 12. That's the error range. An E33 on the roll of an 11, and he makes the play. Nice play, Tommy. So that'll go 1-3X. That retires the side. No runs, no hits, a man left, and we are scoreless after 1. And Joel, I believe that's right, Joel, 13-3, and I want to say 2.59 ERA, and that's just from memory. But I follow that 74 Dodgers season very closely, probably more so than any single season in my life. That was my last year of high school. I cut a lot of classes over that season. I'm not proud to admit it, but it's the truth. Supposed to be in first period, and I'm sitting at Winchell's Donuts with the LA Times, the Herald Examiner, a couple of donuts and a coffee. Those were good times. Okay, here's Romano to lead things off for the White Sox. Romano's got some pop, too. He's catching primarily because the Angels are throwing a left-hander. Lopez, the sign from Rogers. Here's the pitch to Romano, 2-10, swung on and missed strike 3. Romano down on strikes. And here's Pete Ward now, lefty on lefty. An interesting lineup choice against Lopez. Ward, primarily a third baseman, was playing left field part-time for the Sox this season. He had 251 at-bats. Ward had some power in his younger days, not so much on this card. Here's the pitch from Lopez on a 5-9. That is a fly ball to deep right field. Oh my God, back goes Warner, and it's gone, just as I said that. And he's an N against lefties, 5-9. 1-7. The roll is a 5, and Pete Ward with a fence scraper hits that one out of the yard. How about that? I'm sitting here bemoaning Ward's lack of power, and what does he do? He hits a home run, and it's 1-0 Chicago. So here's Skowron now with one away. Skowron, a very storied ball player, 6-time All-Star. Most of his better years came with the Yankees, of course. He was part of that awesome 61 team. He hit his career high of 28 home runs that year, kind of lost in the shuffle behind the Maris-Mantle home run race. But I believe the Yankees had at least 6 guys with 20 or more home runs that season. So here's Skowron. Here's the pitch from Lopez on a 1-8, and that's a high fly ball crushed to deep left field. Reichart turns around, bam, back to back. Bill Skowron with a home run. And it's 2-0 Chicago on a 1-8, 1-10. The roll is a 3. And Skowron goes deep, and just like that, back-to-back home runs from Ward and Skowron, and it's 2-0 Chicago. Ron Hansen, the batter now. Here's the windup. The pitch to Hansen is a 5-9. High fly ball to left field. Back goes Reichart to the track. That's going to be off the wall. Hansen rounding now. He's into second with a stand-up double. And oh my goodness, they are teeing off on Marcelino Lopez. 2 home runs and a double. Only 1 out. Here's Al Weiss now, the light-hitting, slick-fielding second baseman. Rogers out to the mound already to have a little talk with Lopez. He's probably saying, keep the ball down, buddy. Here's the glove. Throw it where I put it. Here's the pitch to Weiss on a 2-6. That's a base hit into left field. Hansen can try to score on that. Reichardt's a +1. Hansen an 11. That'll make him a 12 with 1 out. He's going to play it cautiously and hold up. So Hansen will hold at third on the single to left by Weiss. It was a shallow single. Reichart got on it quickly. They're going to be back. Let's see how Tommy John's bunting skills are. He's a B. He's going to go ahead and try to lay it down. Not for the squeeze, just to stay out of the double play. So that's an 8 on a B. And he performs an excellent sacrifice bunt. So that's going to go, we'll call that 2-3. That pushes Weiss to second. Tommy John with a sacrifice hit. Second and third, 2 down, and it will be up to Tommy Agee. Agee, a fine ball player. Lopez trying to get out of this with minimal damage now. He's already allowed 2 runs, and he's got runners at second and third with 2 away. Here's the pitch to Tommy Agee on a 4-5. It's a tapper down to third base. That'll be Paul Shaw. He makes the play and throws him out. But 2 runs for the Sox on 4 hits, a pair of home runs. They leave a pair as well, and it's 2-0 Chicago as we move along to the bottom of the second. Tommy John getting ready to work here in the bottom of the second. I'm reading the commentary, catching up on the comments, which I try to do between half innings, otherwise I get too confused. The senility, I start showing my age. Well, senility probably isn't fair, but you know what I mean. Don't underestimate Ward, indeed. Well, I did, and look what he did. Warner, Reichart, and Shaw do for California, trailing 2-0 now as Tommy John goes into the windup. Pitch to Warner, a 5-11 to the righty. That's a grounder to first base X. That's going to be Moose Skowron, a 4E14. And here is the play. On a 6, that gets by him. That's going to be a single. Leadoff single, Jackie Warner. Warner, no threat to steal. And here's Rick Reichart now. Reichart, a bonus baby. He was supposed to be a superstar and was never really exactly that. He was a solid player. This year he hit .288, 16 homers in about a half season's worth of at-bats. a fine .480 slugging percentage in real life. From the stretch, here's Tommy's delivery to Rick Reichard on a 1-2. It's a high fly ball to left field. Back goes Ward on the track and makes the catch for the out. So a homer 1-2-9 is denied on the roll of a 17. It'll be a fly out to left. Did I say Reichard? Reichard hits it to Ward for the out, just to clarify. One down, and here's Shaw. Tommy John from the stretch. The pitch is a 6-12 against the right-hander. That's pitcher X again. That's a 3E33. We've already had one ground ball X to John. This one on a 9 is the error range. An E33 on the roll of a 10. And he makes... It's a ground ball A. It's a double play. Holy cow, John has it. He fires down to Hansen back to first, and that's a double play. On an X play. It's an E33. How about that? So no runs a hit, none left. Nice play by Tommy John, and that'll retire the side. I'm going to take a second. I got to turn the heat down just a little. It's getting too warm in here. In fact, you could probably hear that. The heater in this place is, well, it's not super noisy, but it's louder than I would like it to be. Here's Lopez now ready to work. It's going to be Buford, Robinson, and Romano for the Chi Sox. Lopez into his windup now. Pitch to Buford is a 5-10 to the right-hander. That's a catcher's card X. That will be Rogers. Rogers, a fine defensive catcher, a 2E3. Here's the play. On an 18, that'll be a foul out to the catcher X. And there's one away. And here's Robinson now. Robinson bounced out to short in the first inning. Lopez with the windup. Here's the pitch, a 4-8 to the lefty. That's a tapper down to second base. That's going to be Knopp. Knopp fields it cleanly. Over to Adcock, 2 down. And here's John Romano. Romano struck out his first time up. Lopez into the windup. Pitch to John is a 4-8 to the right-hander. That's a ground ball up the middle. That's going to get into center field for a base hit. So single for Romano, and here's Ward, who we were just talking about. Can he do it again? Lefty on lefty. Here's the pitch on a 4-7. Swung on and missed strike 3. And Lopez got him that time for the White Sox. No runs a hit, they leave a man. Going to the bottom of the third, Chicago 2, California nothing. And Tommy John getting ready to work here. It'll be Rogers, Lopez, and Cardinal for California. Okay, Tommy's ready now. He's got the sign from Romano, the windup. The pitch to Buck Rogers is a 2-7, swung on and missed strike 3. And that's 3 strikeouts for Tommy John now. As Lopez comes up. Lopez, a right-handed batter, a weak. Here's the pitch on a 5-8, tapper down to short. That's going to be Hansen. Scoops it up, throws across in time, and quickly there are 2 away. And that'll bring up Cardinal, struck out in the first inning. Tommy John gets his sign, the windup. Here's the pitch on a 3-8, tapper down to third base. That'll be Don Buford. He's there, plants, throws, and nails him. 1, 2, 3 go the Angels. At the end of 3 complete. 2-0 White Sox. We had a little dusting of snow in Spokane this morning, and like a typical transplanted Californian, I panicked. I mean, I've lived here over 34 years. You think I'd know by now. But I went down to the store and filled the cupboards, assuming the worst. So that was an adventure. I ran into a guy I knew. Doesn't happen all that often because I moved from the other side of town. But that was fun. Got to talk to him for a while. Okay, 2-0. We move along to the fourth. It'll be Skowron, Hansen, and Weiss for Chicago. Lopez into the windup. Here's the pitch. That's a 4-9 against the right-hander. That's ripped into left field for a base hit. Line drive single for Bill Skowron, and he's 2 for 2. Homered in his first at-bat. Skowron not a threat to run. Here's Hansen. Hansen and A. Bunter. They already have a 2-run lead, but it's the bottom of the order. That's what makes that tough. You're going to bunt him over, so what? Weiss and Tommy John can drive him in? I just can't do that. Okay, he's going to hit away. That's a 4-12 to the righty. That's a grounder to first base X. That'll be Adcock. He's a 4-E5. So runner on first. Here's the play to first on a 9. That's the error range. An E5 on the roll of a 5, and that's going to be the double play. So Adcock grabs it down to Fregosi, back to first in time. The old 3-6-3-X. That erases Skowron, and with 2 down, Weiss will be the hitter. So see, there maybe I should have sacrificed. You just never know. And here's Weiss now. Lopez into the windup. Pitch to Al Weiss, a 3-8 to the lefty. A tapper down to third. That's routine for Paul Shaw. Throws him out, and that'll do it. No runs a hit, no one left. Erased on the double play. And it's still 2-0 as we head along to the bottom of the fourth inning. And Tommy John's getting ready to work. I'll have another sip of coffee. The last of the morning coffee. Not tasting its best right now, but it's okay. Cannot Fregosi and Adcock due up for California here. Trailing by 2 as Tommy John goes into his windup. Here's the pitch to Knopp, a 5-8 to the righty. Gets a tapper down to short. Hansen charging. He's got it on the run. Throws him out. 1 down, and here's Fregosi. Fregosi struck out in the first inning. Here's the pitch from Tommy. It's a 2-5, and Fregosi draws the walk. So a 1-out walk to Fregosi, and he does have wheels. An asterisk 16, he'll have to be held. Tommy a +1. Romano a +1, so that would be 18. He'd be a 16 held, and he's going to try for the lead. He needs a 2 through 5 or a 12 to get it. 10, he does not get it, and Adcock will hit away. Adcock 0 for 1. John comes in from the stretch. Pitch to Joe is a 4-8, single to 7. That liner is going to find the glove of Hansen. Flip throws to first. Fregosi just does get back in. Drifted a little too far off the bag, but he got back. So a liner to short, and with 2 outs, Jackie Warner will be the batter. Here's the pitch from the stretch. That's going to be a 1-7. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And down goes Warner. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 Ks for Tommy John. No runs, no hits, a man left after 4 complete. It's White Sox 2, Angels nothing. John an S7. Lopez an S6, just checking on endurance. Tommy John will be leading it off for the White Sox here in the top of the 5th. Lopez gets his sign. Here's the... Whoops, that doesn't count. Dice everywhere. Fouls one off. Here's the next pitch on a 3-11. A tapper down to second. That's going to be Knopp. Easy play. And he throws Tommy John out. We go back to the top of the order with AG. 0 for 2 today. Lopez the windup. Here's the pitch to Agee, 6-5 to the righty. That's shortstop X. That's going to be Fregosi. He's a 2E36. He goes into the hole, and here is the play on a 5. He's in the hole, plants long throw across just in time. A fine play by Jim Fregosi to just nip the speedy Agee. And with 2 away, Don Buford will be the hitter. Buford 0 for 2. Shake him up a bit. The windup. Pitch to Buford, a 6-7 to the righty. That's second base X. That's Knopp. Knopp gold glove caliber at a 1E17. And here's the play on a 9. That will be the error frequency. So we've got an E17 and a roll of a 7. Fine play by Bobby Knopp. Throws him out, and that will end the inning. 4-3X, 1-2-3 go the White Sox. So Lopez has settled down nicely. And the White Sox take a 2-0 lead into the bottom of the 5th. Here's John ready to work. It will be Reichart, Shaw, and Rogers due up for California. The Angels only have 1 hit. So John working quickly and masterfully here as he winds and delivers to Reichart. 5-4 to the right-hander. That's center field X. That ball's going back, but Agee's going back, and he's a 1E8 into the gap now. And here is the play on a 16. He's there to haul it down. Fine play by the fine defensive center fielder Tommy Agee, and there's 1 down. Here's Shaw now, bounced into a double play his first time up. Hit it right back to the pitcher. Here's the pitch from John, a 4-2 to the right-hander. That's a high fly ball to left field. Back goes Ward and does catch it just shy of the track. The fans got a little excited over that one, but they saw that with their hearts. That wasn't really going to go out. Shaw had the power. He's an in. I had to look at that because I wasn't sure about Shaw. I remember Shaw from his Kansas City days. And here's Rogers now. Switch hitting catcher, hitting righty. Pitch from Tommy, a 6-9. Swung on and missed strike 3. That'll end the inning. That's twice today. TJ has K'd Buck Rogers. So after 5 complete, it is 2-0 Chicago. Lopez entering the 6th inning, his first possible endurance inning, or inning of possible fatigue. Robinson, Romano, and Ward due up for the White Sox. Lopez set now, the sign from Rogers. Here's the pitch to Floyd on a 1-8. He taps it down to second. Knopp to his left has it. Sidearm flip to Adcock, and there's 1 down. And here's John Romano, 1 for 2. Struck out and singled. Lopez the windup. Here's the pitch, a 2-9, swung on and missed strike 3. And that's twice Lopez has K'd Romano. And here's Ward now, homered and struck out. Back-to-back homers by Ward and Skowron in the 2nd inning have accounted for all of the scoring so far. Lopez from the windup. Pitch to Ward is a 6-7. That's second base X. That will be Knopp. Back up the middle, behind the bag. Here's the play on a 1E17, and it is a 1, and Knopp dives behind the bag, smothers it, up with it, fires across in time, and oh my God, was that some kind of a play or what? Only a 1 second baseman could make that play. So a web jam by Knopp. That'll go 4-3X exclamation. 1-2-3 go the White Sox. Both pitchers sailing along now. Lopez a little trouble in the 2nd with the back-to-back homers, but he has been absolutely splendid since. And Tommy John has only allowed 1 hit in the game. So at the bottom of the 6th, Lopez has already gone 6, and he's in S6. I think the writing is clearly on the wall here. The Angels are going to have to send up a hitter. They have to feel fortunate to get 6 out of Lopez. That's about what he's good for. He allowed 6 hits, 2 runs, the 2 solo homers. Did not walk a batter. And struck out 3. And warming up now in the California Angels bullpen will be Lou Burdett. Burdett, I remember more from his Atlanta Brave years. And they'll get a pinch hitter up here against Tommy John to lead off the bottom of the 6th. They've got a lot of left-handed hitters on this Angel bench. Here's Tommy John's card. Pretty balanced. Jimmy Pearsall's going to bat for the Angels. So hitting for Lopez, Jimmy Pearsall. .211, but he's a right-handed hitter, and he's better than the pitcher, so here it goes. John ready to work. Pitch to Jimmy. 6-6, that's going to be a base hit into left field. Pearsall comes through with a pinch hit single, and he's aboard to lead things off here in the bottom of the 6th. He's got decent speed, 1-13, that's adequate. And here's Jose Cardinal. Cardinal 0 for 2. John from the stretch now. Pitch to Jose, a 4-11 to the right. He gets a pop-up on the left side. Buford calling for it. He's there and makes the put-out. And here's Bobby Knopp, 0 for 2. Pearsall taking his lead. Tommy from the stretch. Here's the 6-6 to the righty. That's going to be drilled down the left field line. That's going to be past Ward. That rattles around. Coming clear around to score is going to be Pearsall. Knopp rounding, and he's into third with a triple. Holy cow. 6-6. Triple to 7. It's a 7. By the skin of his teeth, it would have been a single otherwise, which the runner would have had to hold at third. But it's a triple, an RBI triple for Knopp. It's 2-1, and the tying runs at third base with one away. And there goes the organist just in time with the rally music. Okay, Chicago, going to play the infield in. Here's Fregosi with the infield in, tying run at third. John delivers on a 6-11 to the right-hander. That's a fly ball to center. That's going to be deep enough to score him. Agee got it. Knopp will tag up and score, and we've got a tie ball game on the sacrifice fly from Jim Fregosi. So Fregosi, fundamental baseball. He was looking for something he could get up in the air, and he did, and we've got a tie ball game. And here's Adcock now. Pitch to Adcock is a 1-2, and that's a base hit into left field. And the Angels are hitting John a bit in the 6th inning. They've got 3 hits off of him. He'd only allowed 1 hit coming into the inning. And Adcock's aboard. John in S7, so endurance is not a factor. And here's Jackie Warner. John from the stretch. Pitch to Jackie, a 1-9, swung on and missed strike 3. And that will retire the side. However, the Angels tie it up with 2 runs on 3 hits and leave a man. And at the end of 6 complete, we've got a 2-2 tie. And it's another great ball game. It must be this card set. I don't know how many of these games, and granted, we're very, very early into the season, but how many nail-biters, close games, have I had so far? It seems like almost every one there's drama. If we were playing the 1998 or 1999 season, I don't think that would be the case. I mean, I have no tangible evidence to prove that. So all knotted up as we go to the 7th, it will be Skowron, Hansen, and Weiss. New pitcher for California, Lou Burdett, the right-hander. And some interesting information provided by Joel Horlin there. Burdett was a great pitcher for the Braves. I'm assuming he was near the end of the line here, but still a 3.39 ERA and 80 innings of relief. He had 5 saves thrown in for good measure. Now here's his pitch to Skowron. On a 3-6, that's a tapper down to third. Paul Shaw has it and throws him out. And there's one down. Ron Hansen, the shortstop, will be the hitter now. Burdett winds and deals, and that's going to be a 2-2 to the righty. High fly ball into left field. He's a weak, however. In any case, that's a 19, so that's going to be caught by Rick Reichard. So a single to 9 for a weak hitter. The roll is a 19. That's a fly ball to left, and there's 2 away quickly, and here's Al Weiss. Burdett gets the sign from Rogers. Here's the offering on a 1-6. It's a tapper down to first. Adcock will take it to the bag himself, and a 1-2-3 inning for Lou Burdett. And greetings, Trent Smith. Glad you could make it. Hope your day is going well. If there's anybody I haven't met yet, please shout out there in the chat room. It's the only way I know you're there. And I'm going to take a short break for the 7th inning stretch. Very short. I have to refresh my beverage, and I'll be right back in a 2-2 deadlock. Okay, we're back. I told you it would be quick. I'm changing up my beverage today. I was at the store and I got a box of those instant cocoa packets. And it's, it's okay for instant. Okay, Tommy John's out there in the bottom of the 7th now. He's in S7. It'll be Reichart, Shaw, and Rogers for the Angels. Tommy John gets the sign from Romano. He winds, and the pitch to Reichart is a 1-10 against the left-hander. High fly ball crushed to left field. Ward turns around and says, forget about it. Rick Reichart has just put the Angels into the lead with a home run. So on a 1-10, that's a no doubt about her, halfway up the seats. And now the White Sox are going to get somebody up in their bullpen. And that's going to be, well, normally Fisher pitched in the game. Or you could go Locker. They've got righty, a lot of righties do. They're going to get Hoyt Wilhelm up. I don't think I've used him yet. So Wilhelm, the ageless wonder, the knuckleballer, throwing in the Chicago pen. As Paul Shaw comes to the plate against Tommy John, and here's the pitch. It's a 2-9. Comebacker, John spears it and throws him out. And here's Rogers now, switch hitter, batting righty. The windup. The pitch is a 6-7, and he walks him. Ball 4. And now it's decision time for California. Should they hit for Burdett? He's only worked 1 inning. He looked pretty good out there. Let's see what else they have in their pen. These guys were starter relievers. Rojas was good. Bob Lee had the bulk of their saves, and Brunette was the left-hander. Right, left, left. I think they'd rather try to get another inning out of Burdette. Burdette's a C bunter. He's going to lay one down on a 7. 7 on a C. Sacrifice bunt is successful. That'll be a sacrifice for Lou Burdette. Buck Rogers will take second with 2 away, and it will be up to Jose Cardinal. Angels leading 3-2 now. Had they been tied, I would have definitely pitch hit. But they've got the lead, and they'd like to get a little more out of Burdette. So here's the pitch now to Cardinal, a 4-7 to the right-hander. That's a base hit into center field. That's an open single. Ag's a -3, however. Rogers can try to score on that. So Rogers 12 with 2 out of 14, -3 AG 11. He's coming. Here's a throw by AG, and he's gunned down at the plate. What a throw by Tommy Agee on one bounce to Romano, and they gunned down Rogers at the plate. How about that? So they gambled. Agee's got a great arm, and he proved it right there. But the Angels take the lead, a run on 2 hits, the home run by Reichart. And we go to the 8th, California 3, Chicago 2. And Burdette will come back out for the 8th. And now the White Sox are going to have to send up a pinch hitter, as Tommy John is due to lead off. In fact, he tired on the single anyway. That fatigued him. Okay, I almost missed that point. But he was going to come out for a pinch hitter anyway. So Tommy John worked 7 innings, allowed 3 runs, 1, 4, 5, 6 hits. He walked a pair. Struck out 6. Hoyt Wilhelm will come on. And now they need a batter to lead off against Lou Burdette. So they'd like a left-handed hitter here. They don't necessarily have to have one. Looks like they won't have one. Gene Freese is going to bat. He's a right-hander. Freese was a good pinch hitter for the team that year. And I say pinch hitter because, first of all, he only had 106 at-bats. And as a third base for E53, I'm guessing he didn't play there much. And there's Sports Time Machine. Welcome. And welcome Gerald Camire. I know I'm butchering that, so I'm going to quit while I'm behind. So here's Freese now to lead off the top of the 8th for the White Sox. They're trailing by a run. Burdette into the windup. Here's the pitch to Freese on a 6-6. That's a liner. Speared by Shaw. Oh my, so that's 1 down. So Freese hit it on the screws right at the third baseman, and with 1 out, Tommy Agee will be the hitter. Burdette into the windup. Here's the pitch on a 1-5. That's ripped down the left field line. That's rattling around. It gets past Reichart. Agee rounding second now. Reichart picks it up, going for third, and Agee's in there with a triple. Holy crap. 1-5. Right-handed. Triple to 9, and that's a 1. And Agee has a 1-out triple, and that's the tying run, the potential tying run at third base with 1 down. Buford at bat now. Floyd Robinson on deck. And the Angels better get somebody else up in the pen. They need to get a left-hander up, and they have mostly righties. They've got Brunette. Let's see who they're going to get up. They're going to get Brunette up and Bob Lee, the right-hander. So George Brunette, the lefty, and Bob Lee, the righty, will get loose for California. The Angels will pull the infield in with one down. Don Buford, a switch hitter, turns around and bats lefty against Burdett. Here's the pitch on a 3-7 fly ball to right field, B question mark. Now that's interesting because he can tag up and score on that, and I know Agee has speed. Agee is 17 and 19 to tag up. The right field's a +1, so he's a 1 through 19. So here comes Agee. Oh my God, on a 19, he's just barely in there. So Agee tags and scores. It was closer than it should have been. That'll be an RBI for Buford on the sac fly, and we've got a tie ball game. So sac fly Don Buford, who I remember well from his Baltimore days. Yeah, I was a kid in '66. I don't remember a lot of this. That's one reason I picked this season. A lot of these guys I knew later in their career, and this is, besides being a hell of a lot of fun, it's kind of a history lesson. I've already learned a lot of stuff just in this first week plus of the season. So 2 down, base is empty now, tie ball game, and here's Floyd Robinson. The pitch from Burdett is a 5-8, and that's ripped into right field for a single. So a line drive single for Robinson. He'll have to be held on. Their catcher is Rogers, a -2. Burdett, a +1, so he's a 17. He'd be a 15 held. He'll have to be held. He's going to try for it. He needs a 6. Did not get it, so Romano will hit away. Pitch from Burdett on a 5-9. High fly ball to left field. Fading back is Reichart. Bam! That's off the wall for a double. Robinson can try to score on that. He's a 14. The center fielder picks it up. That's oh, come on. That's Cardinale, a -2. So 14, 16, -2 is a 14. He's coming. Throw to the plate. He's in there on a 13. So an RBI double by Romano. Robinson comes in to score, and the White Sox take a 4-3 lead here in the top of the 8th. And with Ward up, that's going to be it. Here comes Bill Rigney, and he's seen enough. He's going to pull Burdett. George Brunette's ready. So 1 2/3 for Burdett. He started out pretty good. He pitched a 1-2-3 7th. But 3 hits here in the 8th, 2 runs in. Runner on second is his responsibility. No walks and no strikeouts. And the left-hander, George Brunette, will come on now to pitch to Ward. Ward 1 for 3 with a homer. Here's Brunette. 3.31, starter reliever. So here we are now, 4-3 White Sox. 2 down, top of the 8th. Runner on second. Pete Ward's the hitter, lefty on lefty. Pitch from Brunette is a 5-3. That's right field X. That's going to be Warner. This is no sure thing. He's a 4-6 out there. Drifting towards the line. Here's the play. On a 4, and that's down. That's going to be extra bases. He can't play it. Another run's going to score on the double by Pete Ward. Romano will come in. So, no, wait a minute. Yeah, that's right, Warner. I'm sorry, that is right. Okay, double to Warner. So that's actually an X double. That drives in Romano, and it is indeed 5-3. And here's Skowron now. Oh my goodness. And they're just going to put Skowron on and try to get out of this with Hansen. So intentional walk to Skowron rather than go to another pitcher. Another thing that's hard for me to wrap my head around sometimes, I play so many current day leagues, is the 3-batter rule. I have to constantly remind myself, no, you're not using the 3-batter rule. You can bring them in and out as you want. So first and second, 2 out from the stretch. Pitch to Ron Hansen is a 5-10. That's a grounder to shortstop X. That should be playable for Fregosi. He's a 2E36. Here's the play. On a 17, he's got it, and he throws him out. And that will retire the side, but not before the White Sox strike for 3 and take the lead. Here in the top of the 8th, 3 runs on 4 hits. They leave a pair. And for the White Sox, I like to look at their bench in these kind of situations. Ken Berry could play. Ken Berry is going to replace Pete Ward in left field on defense. A 1E3+1. So the White Sox tighten up their defense a little bit with the slick fielding Ken Berry in left field. Ward went 2 for 4, homered and doubled. Here's Hoyt Wilhelm now. He's ready. That would make Tommy John the winning pitcher if they can hold on to it. So Wilhelm, the knuckleballer, he'll be facing Knopp, Fregosi, possibly Adcock, possibly not against a righty. As Wilhelm flutters one up there to Knopp, it's a 4-5, base hit 1 through 6, and it's in there for a single, knocked down at third by Buford, but he has no play. That'll be a leadoff single for Knopp. And here come the Angels in the bottom of the 8th. Here's Fregosi now. Fregosi 0 for 1, walked and hit a sacrifice fly in the 6th. Wilhelm from the stretch. Here's the knuckler on a 6-7. It's a fly to center field, playable. Tommy Agee right there in his tracks, and he makes the catch. Adcock still has power against righties. Or they could go to their other first baseman, Norm Seaburn. And that's what they're going to do. Norm Seaburn is going to come on now and hit for Adcock against the right-handed pitcher. Seaburn, the regular first baseman against right-handed pitching. He'll stay in the game and play first, where he's a 4E10. So the left-hander on now to hit against Hoyt Wilhelm. 1 down, a runner on first. Knopp takes his lead. Wilhelm the pitch to Seaburn. That's a 2-4. That's a grounder to shortstop. That's going to be Hansen. Flips to Weiss, but he will not have a play. That'll be a forced play. Knopp forced. That'll go 6-4, and now Seaburn is at first. With 2 away, it's Jackie Warner. I'm going to check the Angel bench once more. Johnstone could play left. Kirkpatrick's better fielder and could play left. On the other hand, we've seen the heroics of, I don't know, Jackie Warner's done it before for them. I'm going to let him bat. 2 down, here's the pitch to Warner. That's a 1-5. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Chases that knuckleball, and down he goes. And for the Angels, no runs a hit, they leave one. Warner won a game earlier with a home run for the Angels. That had popped into my head at that moment. Maybe should have brought up a lefty against Wilhelm, but what the heck. Okay, now it's Brunette. He'd be facing Weiss, the pitcher's spot, and Agee. If anybody gets on, Buford. Okay, we'll start with Brunette. Now they're trailing, so it will not be Lee. Minnie Rojas will be throwing behind Brunette, just in case. As Al Weiss will lead off the top of the ninth for the White Sox. They're leading 5-3 at this point. Brunette, the lefty, gets the sign, and here's the pitch to Al Weiss. That's a 3-9 against the lefty. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and down goes Weiss. And the White Sox are going to let Wilhelm bat. Wilhelm's a one-hitter's card, so we have to fix that. There we go. Wilhelm, a weak hitter, a right-handed batter. Here's the pitch on a 4-7. Swung on and missed, strike 3. So Brunette's looking good out there. He'll go ahead and face Tommy Agee with 2 down. Agee 1 for 4. Here's the pitch on a 6-5. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and George Brunette has just struck out the side. 1, 2, 3 go the White Sox, and they will go to the bottom of the ninth, leading 5-3. And it's up to Hoyt Wilhelm. He was not the closer. Eddie Fisher and Bob Locker had the lion's share of the saves. But they're gonna keep going with Wilhelm. He seems to have good command of that knuckler today. Reichart, Shaw, and Rogers are due for the Angels. They trail by 2. And here we go, the bottom of the ninth. Wilhelm's ready to work now. Here's Rick Reichart. Reichart has a home run already today. Pitch from Wilhelm is a 2-5. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Oh my God, Wilhelm's got that thing fluttering and dancing all over the place. And here comes Paul Shaw. I can see why Eddie Stanky's sticking with Wilhelm here. And here's the delivery to Shaw. On a 3-6, he walked him. Well, knuckleballers will do that. That'll bring the tying run to the plate. And it's Buck Rogers, switch hitter. He'll turn around and bat lefty against Wilhelm. Wilhelm from the stretch on a 3-5. Grounder to first. That's going to be Skowron. He goes down to Hansen, back to first, double play, and that's the ball game. Let's check that again. 3-5. Ground ball A to first base. 3-6-3. And that'll do it. No runs, no hits, 1 left, and the White Sox win the ball game. 5-3 here this afternoon. Wilhelm had it all going on. He helps make a winner out of Tommy John. He allowed 1 hit, a walk, and K'd 2. So all 3 of those runs were charged to Lou Burdett. Lou Burdett ends up being the losing pitcher. Brunette worked 1 1/3. He gave up a hit, a walk, albeit intentional, and struck out 3. So for the White Sox, 5 runs on 10 hits, they made an error. The Angels had 3 runs on 7 hits, no errors. And that's your final. Here from the Big A. As the White Sox nipped the Angels 5-3. And I want to thank you guys for joining me. Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. I continue to bring you more exciting 1966 Strat-O-Matic baseball. In fact, tomorrow, I looked at this once already, it's San Francisco Giants at who? Chicago. We're going to Wrigley Field, where the Giants will take on the Cubs. That'll be at 2:15 Pacific time tomorrow. I'm looking at some of the comments now. Quite a few comments since I last looked. Trent doesn't have Jim Palmer and Morgan or Cardi on his 68 set. That's unusual. I don't quite get that. Oh, Palmer was injured. Cardi tuberculosis. Now it explains. Joe Morgan had ligaments in his knee. Palmer had shoulder problems. Can Robinson win the Triple Crown? Oliva will win the batting title. Gerald, I think that's a good guess. That would be my guess. Frank should be able to get the home runs. It's not a given. But he did hit 49. And I love this by Joel. My 75 set is missing Tommy John due to, you guessed it, Tommy John surgery. The Reds are 79 and 35 and 75. Oh my God, the Reds were just a machine in 1975. Well, they were the Big Red Machine. Was it 75 or 76 they won more games? They won over 100 both years. One of those 2 years, they won 108. I'm just going from memory now. And Sports Time Machine. Oh, yes, Sparky. Sparky Anderson was the original Captain Hook. That was his nickname. And the A's, of course, in 75. Absolutely. Thanks again, guys. Thank you, Craig. Glad to have you aboard. I'm going to wrap it up here. Oh, God, I didn't even write the game number in. Look at me. That's game number 55. So I will retire and make myself some lunch. I want to thank everybody again for hanging out with me. Have a pleasant evening, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.